Assalamu alaikum. Welcome. We are live 94.0 on the airwaves. My name's Altaf from Halal Hangouts, and I'm taking you all the way through to iftar. So stay tuned, listen up. We've got a great show planned for you today. We're going to be talking about finance. We're going to be talking about money. Everyone loves money. We're going to be talking all about it today. Just before we start, a word from our sponsors. This show is sponsored by Wabe Restaurant in Gantsill. We're running a competition where we're giving away a meal for a family of 5 to eat at Wabe Restaurant. Eat and enjoy the luxurious surroundings while you enjoy exquisite subcontinental food. Winning an iftar meal for 5 by just liking and following Revive FM and tagging 3 friends in the comments. The winner will be announced this Friday. The competition closes on Friday during the iftar show. So make sure you get involved. The prizes are still up for grabs. There's only a few days left. So get commenting and tagging. So without further ado, let's start the show. I'm joined by a very special guest today, who is a specialist in Islamic finance and co-founder and CEO of Nesta. Youness, how are you doing?
Oh, very well. Thank you very much. And look, thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, Altaf.
Okay, fantastic. So Youness, why don't you tell us, I introduced Nesta, but why don't you tell us what Nesta is?
Thank you. Thank you for the platform. So Nesta, if I stand back a bit, Nesta is a culmination of 2 ideas from myself and my co-founder, Mohammed Pracha. An idea to empower and provide a platform for a community that's financially excluded, a community that is excluded from financial products, a community that needs to see innovation. And we're very lucky that technology has moved in the direction that it has. That's allowed us to innovate and introduce products and solutions through an IT platform such as NESTER. And we've done so. We continue to do so. We're still very young in our life as a business. We've been going for 3 years. We've only now started launching on a soft basis to a closed network, and in the next month or so should be launching with an app, and that app will be introduced to the wider network, inshallah, with a marketing campaign that will hopefully open it to the wider population.
So just on that point, what I understood from that is Nesta is an IT platform. Could you explain what problems is Nesta trying to solve? So I'm going to give you some background. Statistically, the Islamic banking or finance, the Islamic finance industry, going back from 2007 to 2015, grew from fledgling amounts to a $51 billion industry measured in 2014, and we're talking about Sukuk specifically. So in that vein, so firstly, like, I don't really know what Sukuk is. Could you just explain that, and then we can go back to
yeah. So yeah, sure. So a Sukuk is the equivalent of or an Islamic bond, effectively, a method of ownership of an underlying asset, and a suk is, for want of a better word, a share of that ownership, and that share of ownership then gives the beneficiary both legal title and also ownership or beneficial interest over income generated from that underlying asset. And it's interesting you mentioned Sukuk, and to the average person, Sukuk is not really a product that's accessible. And this is the point about why Nesta has come to being in the light that it has. My background, I'm an accountant by trade, so a bit of a boring background. But I moved into
is boring.
Yeah, but I moved into Islamic banking about nearly 2 decades ago. What we found was that Islamic banking, what I found was that Islamic banking very much services the ultra high net worth, so really wealthy individuals, and services big business, right? And my co-founder, Mohammed Pracha, was part of the initial introduction of Islamic finance into the UK. So you mentioned 2004, 2007 as the introduction of Islamic finance into the UK. And Mohammed, mashallah, was part of that initial introduction, introducing new laws. Mohammed's background is a lawyer, so two very boring co-founders, right?
Now that is boring.
Yeah. He was part of the introduction of the Islamic finance laws into the UK, being part of the Bank of England steering committee. But since 2004, and yes, there was great innovation for a few years, and Islamic finance developed as an industry. To be frank, and this is coming from someone that's worked in the industry for a number of years, it's been stagnant since then, right? And the question is, does it really support the community? Does it really support the end user? So we talk about Sukuk, we talk about all these fancy products, but actually, which one of those products is actually delivering a service or a product or a solution to the individuals that the average person like you and I, or our families, right? What we did, interestingly, the way Nesta started was through a telephone conversation between me and Mohammed, and I was on a platform on the way to work. We were about to talk about a deal that we were going to close, in the Islamic financing world, and I stopped and asked Mohammed a quite deep question in that, what is it that he felt he was doing to support the Islamic finance industry, given all of his input to date. He spun the question back on me, and eventually we started talking about what we could do. And NESTER was effectively created on the train platform, him in Dubai and me here I was in East London, right?
Made in East London.
Yeah, made in East
London,
yeah, and Dubai, right? So that's where it kind of started. And then we developed from there, and we've been going for 3 years. So, coming back to your question, what problem does NESTER answer? What solution do we provide? Well, first of all, I think if I stand back, NESTER, our vision is very much focused on delivering a solution to empower individuals, number one, and empowering individuals means empowering a community and delivering for that community a number of solutions that gives them access to, areas of finance that maybe they have not been able to access in the past.
Could you give an example?
Yeah. So previously, up until NESTER's introduction to the marketplace, we provide. So if I talk about two of our core products, right? So we have a real estate financing solution for SMEs, and then we have an investment product. So if I talk about the real estate financing solution, that there are no Islamic finance providers that are specifically able to offer finance to the SME sector, SME meaning the small and medium-sized enterprises, the real heart of the UK economy, right? To provide them a financing solution to acquire real estate, to purchase real estate. So whether that's for the purposes of a bridge, or for the purposes of light refurbishment, or as a commercial investment product, right? Or property, sorry. So we've stepped into that space and said, look, we want to provide this as a solution. We want to offer the SMEs, the businesses in the UK, an Islamic solution. And then what we've done is we've taken that financing, and that financing is created in the through an Islamic structure, and then flipped it on its head and effectively created off the back of that an investment product. So the average person can invest, and this comes back to the technology, right? Through the platform, through the technology that we've built in-house, into each and any one of those investments. And those investments are, in fact, real estate financings that are secured on property, that give people the benefit of being able to see their investment, touch their investment, drive around the corner. We've got a few assets here in East London, so you can actually see them.
Keeping it authentic.
Absolutely, right. Our first product was in Walthamstow, and that's the first financing that we did. So you can see it, you can touch it, you can drive around the corner, you can say, okay, I have offered £1,000, £10,000, £100,000 of the financing that the buyer of that property needed to acquire that property. And so we offer the solution of for one type of customer who is a buyer who's looking for an Islamic solution to acquire property, and then we offer, which in my opinion is much more powerful, right? The opportunity for the average person to invest, whether it be £1,000, £10,000, or £1 million, into a financing product that gives them a fixed return, that gives them a monthly payout into a bank account that's set up on our platform, and all of that is driven off the back of technology. And so, if I kind of turn it full circle and come back to the start, Islamic finance has not developed as much as it could, right? And unfortunately, the conventional space has developed in a much faster pace. Now, there are restrictions, and there's a huge discussion that we could probably have well beyond Fador and into Sahur, right? About the different types of products that Islamic finance offers and how we should look at creating more products and more solutions. But what we would say is that we're starting off. We're knocking on all the right doors. We're at the door of HMRC, and we're in the process of now waiting for changes to legislation that will allow our product, specifically for Nesta, that will allow our product to be treated in a certain tax manner. So, these are new changes that we're trying to put in place that will continue to drive innovation in the sector. And look, Nesta is the first, but there should be many, many Nestas out there that are pushing this Islamic finance agenda. And I talk very openly and specifically here about it being an Islamic finance agenda. But I applaud your listeners to go on the website and have a look. We have not positioned it in that way. And the reason we have not positioned it in that way is that we have felt in the decades of our experience looking and working with a number of the Islamic finance institutions that quality should be the driver of any financial product, whether it be as an investment or as a financing solution. And if quality is the driver, that means that it negates the argument of positioning necessity. And so what we do not want is for our customers to feel like they have to come to us because we are the only Islamic solution. And off the back of that, then result in having conversations about why we are too expensive or too cheap, or whatever their case may be in terms of how much we charge the buyers that are seeking finance, or how much we're offering to our investors. So that's how we've tried to position it in terms of the branding of our business, but also the culture, right? Because we are trying to develop a culture where the community benefits, and we will be led by the community. This is the first of our solutions. We will grow as a business, and we will ensure that as we grow, we are supporting the needs of that community. And so that's for us why we've created a brand that's very maternal in nature. And I think that's the focus. I could talk about the products, I can talk about the solutions that we're offering, but really what's more important for us as a business, and I think most big brands would probably suggest the same, and that's what I see in Nesta. I don't see a new startup business. I see a brand that's going to be huge, right? And the focus for us is the culture that we develop within the business, the culture that we develop outside of the business, and our raison d'être, and making sure that we continue to maintain that vision of being a business and individuals within that business that are aiming, that have a vision of empowering a community, whether it be at the moment a financial capacity in the UK that may then grow into other jurisdictions, or as a community, the Nesta community may grow into other areas. And I think knowledge is very important, and alhamdulillah, we've been blessed with knowledge, and my co-founder, mashallah, also, and the team around me, right, to create the business that we have. And we feel obliged that we use this knowledge to create something that benefits people, and inshallah that's what the aim is. I think a financial reward comes as a byproduct of all of that.
One of the things that struck me about what you're saying about community and the financial system not being geared towards consumers like you and I, our families, is the finance products that we have available to use, financial instruments like to get a mortgage or a loan or some kind, they're being kind of taken away from us almost. I mean, the most prominent visual aspect of that was a prominent Islamic bank closing in Whitechapel, in the heart of sort of
and not only in Whitechapel, up and down the country. That bank only has now 2 branches. So and it's unfortunate, right? But we need to, I think, look, the community needs to make noise, and we need to listen. What I mean by that, and this is coming back to the point about empowerment and being a community solution or a community-based business. That we need to ensure that innovation continues within Islamic finance. Technology now allows us to do that, right? Now there is a huge argument about where funding or financing comes from to support that business, but it is out there, and alhamdulillah we've managed to support to garner the support of some incredible investors that will look to take Nesta into the stratosphere, inshallah, right? But that needs to continue, and we need to have, like I said, we need to have 100 more Nestas out there that are all about pushing at different boundaries and pushing at different areas of Islamic finance and beyond, right? But you're absolutely right. There are some positions, some players in the industry that have pulled back, and that's created an opportunity, and hopefully that opportunity will benefit us.
I think digital first is the way that the community should be thinking. And it's interesting you mentioned playing, because we have a little game lined up for you.
All right, okay.
Youness, you're going to be racing, as all of our iftar guests have done, on the mean streets of a circuit set up or in the studio. An F1 race car has been set up, and in the next segment you're going to be trying to beat 1 minute 16 seconds. That's the target. And to make it slightly trickier, I'm going to be talking to you while you're doing this.
All right, no.
And I'm going to be asking you about Islamic financial terms, and I'm going to be asking you to define them while we do this.
We should have had Muhammad on first.
So I'm going to be doing that, and we're going to be doing that right after the break. So please stay tuned. We'll be back after these messages.
A Sadqa Jariyah unlike any other. This year, Allah has blessed us with the incredible opportunity of illuminating the interior of the Dome of the Rock Masjid, the exact place where the Prophet ﷺ was ascended into the heavens. This new lighting system will illuminate the central areas inside the Dome of the Rock. Gain the reward of praying in Masjid Al-Aqsa and give today. Visit muslimhands.org.uk.
अल्लाह के रसूल सल्लल्लाहु ताला अलैहि वसल्लम ने फरमाया, तुम में से सबसे बेहतरीन वो है जो दूसरों को फायदा पहुंचाए। 13 मिलियन सीरिया के लोग आपकी मदद के मुंतजर हैं। सिर्फ 50 पाउंड में आप एक खानदान को पूरे महीने के लिए खाना खिला सकते हैं, और 300 पाउंड में एक मुसीबत ज़दा लोगों को फौरी तिब्बी इमदाद फराहम कर सकते हैं, और 2000 पाउंड में आप एक खानदान को एक खूबसूरत घर की तामीर करवा सकते हैं। आए कॉल करें 03,000 11 11 11 और विजिट pennyappeal.org. Penny Appeal, small change, big difference.
With over 40 years experience in the industry, Plushhead Carpets is the place to go for all your carpets, laminates, linos and wood flooring. We have an established network of suppliers, which means we can offer some of the best prices in town. We offer free estimates, free measurements and now even free fitting. Call us now on 0208 472 8568 or visit us at 157 Plushhead Road, Upton Park, London, E13 0QZ.
Wah Bay, Indulge in an exquisite dining experience as our chefs prepare the finest Pakistani cuisine in front of your very eyes. From our mixed grill platters to our finely prepared traditional curries, the flavors of our mouth-watering menu will leave you with nothing to say except wah bay wah. Find us at 410 to 412 Cranbrook Road, Gants Hill in Ilford. Wah Bay.
Looking to get your finances in order? MR Accountants has you covered. We provide a full range of accountancy and taxation services, including annual and management accounts, self-assessment tax returns, VAT, bookkeeping, and payroll services. We ensure you're kept up to date with the latest legislation, and our client-focused approach helps us plan your business finances from savings to investments. We are MR Accountants. Visit our website at mraccountants.com or call us on 0203 432 9138.
If you want to advertise your business on Revive FM, then visit www.revivefm.co.uk. Alternatively, contact our sales team now on 07944 56 5616. That's 07944 56 5616.
Revive FM
94.0 on the radio,
on your mobile,
and online.
Revive FM 94.0. We are back, and in the studio we have Youness, the CEO of Nesta, about to take part in a challenge. How are you doing there, Youness? Can you hear me all right?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you and we can see you.
Oh,
right.
Jeez.
So for the listeners' benefit, Youness has been rigged up to an F1 simulator and is about to take part in our challenge. So as promised, I'm going to be talking to you, probably distracting you while you drive, but I'm sure you'll be able to keep your cool and handle that. So without any further ado, let's begin this challenge. So Youness, activate your engine and begin. You've got your race team just setting up your yes, way. Okay, wow, that was a great first corner. Oh, that was a great second corner. So Youness, you it seems like you
cannot speak to me while I'm doing this. This is just too much.
Well, I'm going to commentate a little bit. So Youness took the first corner really well, took the second, third corner, and he is absolutely flying. This is the great start.
This is East London, bro.
Yeah, this is East London riding through Hoe Street and just turning the corner onto Forest Road. There you go. That's what it is. So just for the listeners' benefit, we're just going past some greenery, and Youness is doing 190 miles an hour.
Don't tell my wife that.
Yeah, so I'm going to ask you some questions, and I don't know if this is the real lap or the practice lap, but it's a really good one.
Well, if it's a good one, it's the real lap.
Okay, all right. So even if you do a really good time here, we're going to take this time because you've done exceedingly well. So I'm going to throw some terminology up at you. What is murabaha?
Murabaha is a cost plus contract. So murabaha is a contract that effectively allows one person to purchase an asset and then sell it to another person at a price. This is too difficult.
Well, you got it right.
Cost plus. The great thing is that the Nesta product is based on a commodity murabaha. So I should have been able to get that one off easily.
Yeah, I mean that's why I started with it, but it seems
you can't give me a car and then start asking me questions about Islamic finance. I'm in East London mode right now. I'm driving away from the police stuff.
Like Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh wow! So your first lap. So for the viewers and listeners, the first lap was 119, which is exceptionally good. Now, second best time in the history of this challenge. Now, let's see if you can beat it. That was the first. I'm going to just commentate now. And you're going down the 117. You've done it. 117 years. 117. All right. So I think we're done.
Just don't tell my wife how fast I'm going.
Okay. All right. So the station, this is unprecedented. The station manager has requested that you keep going because we want to see you beat that time. You are joint first at the moment, 117.
Inshallah.
Yeah. Yeah. So make dua. It's Ramadan. It's before iftar time. You know, the dua of the fasting person can be accepted. So
I think my du'as are needed a little bit or more important matters than trying to get a fasting lap. Inshallah.
Well, I mean, this is another good lap by Youness. Really taking the corners at just the right speed and racing through exactly what you want with someone holding your money. If someone's looking after your money, you want them turning corners like that.
Or I can drive away fast enough not to catch me.
Oh yeah, or that too. You know, you can take it as someone legging it with your money. All right,
this is really
116. You got the record, Youness.
That's it. I'm done.
That's it. You're done. 116. Park up. Park up on the grass. There you go.
Here.
And come back in the studio. What an amazing lap.
I'm coming.
Wow, we have a winner. Everyone. 116. That is the fastest. Is that the fastest? Station manager, please confirm. Is that both of your last two laps were the fastest in this challenge? So, and we don't have very many guests left. We're more than halfway through Ramadan. So well done. How are you feeling after that?
Yeah, amazing. Like I said, just don't tell my wife how fast I was going.
Yeah.
Even if it's virtual.
Right. So, Youness, thank you for that. Coming back to the studio, and now let's get back to some more serious matters. But sure. I'm still buzzing after watching that. That was really, really entertaining. And I advise everyone, if you haven't already, go onto Facebook and watch this episode again. Especially those laps, they were a thing of beauty and something that you would expect from someone holding your money. Either to take it away or to drive it home, to look after it, drive it home. Okay, so before we went for the break, we talked about community. We talked about large Islamic financial institutions closing down, shutting down their consumer operations in the UK. Now, I wanted to just touch on that and come back to Islamic finance as a wider issue. So I was at a talk with a prominent Islamic scholar, Uthman Taqi. He's written multiple books on Islamic finance, one of the leading scholars in the world. Yeah. And on that panel, there was another gentleman, I can't remember his name, but what he said still sticks with me to this day. He said, if the Muslim community worried as much about their Islamic finance as they did their halal meat, we would be in a completely different situation right now.
It's a fantastic analogy, and one that we use actually quite often. So, and this is the point just before the break, like you said, the point I was making about the community making noise, right? And it's just, in my opinion, it's partly knowledge, but also partly maybe a passage of time. Our forefathers, so I'm second generation. My dad was an immigrant, and I think their focus was very much on necessity, right? And so food was necessity, obviously, and ensuring that they were able to source food in a halal manner was of ultimate focus, right? Maybe finances or were then. And maybe are to some extent still now secondary, and it's easier to fall into just normal conventional finance. And to some extent, and I will wave the flag of the Islamic banks here in the UK a little here, and say that to some extent it's very difficult to offer other solutions other than what's being offered at the moment. And this is the point I make about innovation and support from large institutional players in the global marketplace for the UK. And the UK is positioning itself as an Islamic finance hub, and hopefully will continue to attract investment that will drive innovation and drive growth. It will drive change, and that change comes from the introduction of new laws, like I was saying earlier, in respect of HMRC and tax laws. It will drive change in regulation. We are technically the first, not technically, we are the first Sharia compliant regulated entity that offers peer-to-peer financing. So it's we're trying to push the boundaries, and the point is that there needs to be more. And the way that there are more is when customers make noise, and they make noise by either choosing Islamic finance institutions to support as customers, and not just Nesta, but the wide variety that there are at the moment. And to be honest, I say that like there are hundreds. There aren't. There's probably like less than a dozen that are out there at the moment offering real product. And they make noise by speaking to people of influence, and there are a number of people of influence that can make a change. And the point for us, for myself, Muhammad, alhamdulillah, like I said, we're blessed, right, to be able to start Nesta and start making a change as co-founders. And in doing so, we've brought in the support of a number of tremendously high-profiled investors that will take Nesta forward. But all that is great. But I think it would be remiss of me to not talk about everyone else that's attached to Nesta. I talk about Nesta as a community, and I think it's very important to also realize that we have families, and I'm tremendously supported by my wife and kids, and starting a new business is very difficult, and alhamdulillah, with their support I've been able to get to where I am now, and inshallah continue to do so, right? I have to say that I also am blessed to have the team around me that's committed to Nesta, that's seen what Nesta was at a very early stage, and has and they've all kind of stuck with it and grown with it. And that's the kind of culture that we want to try and develop. And alhamdulillah, we've got people on the team that remember me sitting in an office, a small little cubicle, and now we have an office of 12. We've got, mashallah, over 15 people working with us, and we're continuing to grow, right? So it's a journey. Alhamdulillah, we're in a tremendous space at the moment, and we're one story, right? The point is that with the support of the UK population, there's 2.5 million people, Muslims in the UK. Let's drive this forward, right? Let's move this into new ground. And your focus, mashallah, is IT, and I think you're well positioned to drive in terms of support of IT, all of this innovation, because that's where innovation is coming from. Previously, maybe it was kind of legalistic and so on, but now really the real innovation is all in technology.
I think technology is playing a massive part in the Islamic finance awakening, if you can call it that, and people being savvy with their money. It's a major driver. And even, we're approaching the last 10 days of Ramadan, and there's some great innovation just in giving charity. There's apps out there that you can automate your giving of charity through I call it a charity tech, but it's like a financial
payment solution.
And that kind of innovation is it may seem really small, but people who use it then think, okay, why am I not applying this to other parts of my life? Why don't we have this availability in the things that we need?
Absolutely. So you talk about charities, right? And we're working with charities at the moment. So charities have had a really, really difficult time because I was about to start speaking Arabic there. I was going to say awalan. So first of all, the Islamic charities need bank accounts, right? But the majority of banks are not supporting Islamic charities because of the affiliation with the countries that they're supporting. Is that wrong that they're supporting those countries? Well, absolutely not, right? But because of that, there's a tremendous amount of red tape that most high street banks are stepping away from. So now there are new Islamic banks that are digital in nature and are supporting some of these charities. Now, so that's one step. From our perspective, how are we working with them, trying to help, is that a lot of these charities just have cash and they're not investing that cash. So is that the best use of that money? We know that inflation is at 6.5%, 7%. So an Islamic charity that has had people donate to it will hold that money, not be able to deploy it for a year, and in real terms, they have lost 7% of that money. Now, that they should be able to invest that, earn a return, and alhamdulillah, we're able to generate. I won't financially promote, but we're able to generate a return that's equivalent, that will allow them to at least remain neutral in an inflationary environment. Now, those products are not available for those charities. So there are a number of factors. Like, this is all interlinked. And you're absolutely right. Alhamdulillah, now technology is allowing us to open up some of these difficulties and issues. And for us, for Nesta, the fundamental reason for being, our fundamental vision is all about empowerment and ensuring that we're able to have a community that is financially inclusive, not exclusive because of faith or belief or anything else, right? Or nature and so on. So that's our position. I think if we can have more entities, businesses, individuals out there that share the same belief, I think we'll make some real change.
That's really interesting and enlightening to hear. I mean, one thing that struck me when you were speaking is charities in the UK have been, I wouldn't say penalized. Muslim charities have been penalized by foreign policy, and the way I say that, the reason I say that is because if a charity is operating in a sector, in an area where suddenly things turn south and the UK government is no longer supportive, then their banks and bank accounts and things can get shut down. There's no one fighting their corner to say, why are you doing that? Okay, can we have some process? It's just a blanket shutdown. Now with like the advent of more sort of Islamic finance solutions, that kind of pushback is then capable. You're capable of doing that, whereas right now there's no voice in the.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, let's be a bit more direct than you have, and this is, I don't want to kind of start moving into a political conversation, but why should a charity not be able to provide charitable donations into places like Palestine, Syria, Lebanon, who have been suffering for years, really difficult situations, and let's draw a comparison to the awful situation that's in Ukraine at the moment, right? So, we can start seeing now that the similarities, and yet you're absolutely right. I think you used the right word, to be honest, Altaf, like that there are charities that have been penalised because of that. But I think there are changes, and I think the voice of the community needs to be heard. And as I said, right, the voice will be heard by action as well as trying to access people of influence. And action comes from supporting the industry, supporting the businesses that are trying to develop. And please, I'm not here to try and wave the flag of NESTER and say, come and join NESTER, and but join the industry, right? Come and try and support the industry. I've been working in it for over a decade. I know all of the arguments that people will come to you, and all the disparaging comments about whether it is a really Sharia compliant, and you've just replaced the word interest with profit and all this.
Yeah.
We talk openly, right? If we're going to try and fix this for the industry, we need to be very open about it, right? And the point is that there is a lot of work that goes into it. Nesta has been going for 3 years before we were ready as founders to open the door to the first product. 3 years of work. Like, if I had to just replace the word interest with profit, I would have been done in 3 days, right? So there is a lot of work that goes into it. My point to the community is, just come and listen to us, right? We'll tell you what we've done and why we're going in the direction that we are. We're not saying we're perfect. And we're not perfect because of a number of reasons. And principally, we have to comply with regulation. We've got this massive thing called the FCA that looks after your listeners, right? Looks after the average person's money. We need to comply with them. And they have not been set up to look after Islamic finance business. So we have to explain to them why what we're doing is compliant with them, as well as with the Sharia requirements. We also have laws that govern taxation. So we have to speak to HMRC and say, look, what we're doing is the same as what you guys are doing over there, but we're doing it in this way because we need to do it in this way. If I did not have to change, if it was as simple as some people make it out to be, I would not need to change laws to make our product work. So there's a lot, and this is the point coming back to what we said before the break, right? There's a lot of knowledge to be shared. I'm not talking down to anyone at all, right? I've been working in it for 20 years, and you asked me a question about Murabaha, which is the product that we're using, and I couldn't explain it because I was driving a car, right? So, like in all seriousness, it's there's a lot of knowledge to be shared. We're not trying to be coming out and saying that we're perfect or the next business is perfect, but we're all trying. And I think with the support of technology, with the direction of travel that we're going at the moment, I think we can make some real change. And I really do think change is coming. And inshallah, we can get to the position where we are, coming back to your analogy at the start, where Nesta or another is equivalent to a HSBC or a Barclays Bank. We're far, far from it right now, right? And this is why we position Nesta to compete with the conventional space in a very specialist niche sector. Because I know that whatever I offer within Nesta, whether it be on a profit return to investors, or what we're charging our buyers in terms of the profit rate they pay for the financing, is equivalent to the conventional space. I cannot do that for HPP loans. And I know no Islamic bank can compete with HSBC because of the structure of fractional banking and fractional reserve banking, and there's a whole argument there, but they cannot compete. So we're trying to introduce ourselves into a sector that can compete, and I think eventually, with the support of the community, with the support of that voice, we'll get to the space where Mr. Smith's butcher and Mr. Khan's butcher side by side are selling the same priced meat. One is halal and one is not, and then one has a simple choice to either walk into the one that is halal or the one that is not. And I think if we can get Islamic finance to that space, amazing. We'll be in a great space.
We're approaching our next break, and we know you have to go get off to iftar. Yes, it's important, very important. But before you go, I'd like to just ask, how do people get involved with Nesta? What do they do? How do you join Nesta?
So this is my plug, right? So we have a website, www.nester.com. Please visit the website. You'll also have access to a Telegram link. The bottom right hand corner, there is a link to chat. please click that chat functionality, and you'll be able to access a Telegram group where we've got a wider conversation. We're also on LinkedIn and all the major social media sites. We're yet to launch, and this is the point. You know, we are. We've only gone 4 months. We opened the doors, if you like, in December. Only just ajar. Inshallah, we'll have an app that is coming out in May, June, and with that, and with your help, inshallah, we'll take that into a full-blown hard launch. And then, you know, that's when we see the real growth. But, you know, for any of your listeners that are listening in that want to see what NESTER's about, want to try and log on and onboard yourselves and invest, feel free to do so. Or if, of course, you know, you're looking for financing and you've got a project that you need help with, again, you know, feel free to reach out to us through our website.
Okay, excellent. So just to summarize, Nesta is a platform that is based on property and creates instruments for you to invest in to get a return very easily, simply, and it's consumer based. And also on the flip side, get financing. So if you're looking for that next big project, is it commercial only at the moment?
Commercial only.
It's commercial only at the moment. So for the next big project, the next big burger place, get in touch. So Youness, thanks so much for coming down today. It's been a really good conversation, and you absolutely smashed the new record.
No
so yeah,
thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum, and guest listeners, don't leave. I'm taking you all the way up to iftar. I'm going to be talking about just my experiences with Islamic finance and telling you exactly what I think. So stay tuned for this, and we'll be back right after these messages.
क्या आपको मालूम है कि नूरा जैसी बच्चियां पानी के लिए रोजाना 3 मील पैदल सफर तय करती हैं? मिनहाज वेलफेयर फाउंडेशन को यकीन है कि आप छोटे और बड़े पैमाने पर पानी के मंसूबे लगाकर इस बहरान को खत्म कर सकते हैं। आपके एहतियात दुनिया भर के पसमानदा लोगों का म्यार जिंदगी बेहतर बना रहे हैं, जबकि अभी बहुत कुछ करना बाकी है। पानी सबके लिए के प्रोजेक्ट में हमारी मदद कीजिए। आज ही अतिया कीजिए या हमारी वेबसाइट विजिट करें www.minhajwelfare.org।
अल्लाह के रसूल सल्लल्लाहु ताला अलैहि वसल्लम ने फरमाया, तुम में से सबसे बेहतरीन वो है जो दूसरों को फायदा पहुंचाए। 13 मिलियन सीरिया के लोग आपकी मदद के मुंतजर हैं। सिर्फ 50 पाउंड में आप एक खानदान को पूरे महीने के लिए खाना खिला सकते हैं, और 300 पाउंड में एक मुसीबत ज़दा लोगों को फौरी तिब्बी इमदाद फराहम कर सकते हैं, और 2000 पाउंड में आप एक खानदान को एक खूबसूरत घर की तामीर करवा सकते हैं। आए कॉल करें 03,000 11 11 11 और विजिट pennyappeal.org। Penny Appeal, small change, big difference.
Let's connect with the Holy Quran. Minhaj Dawah Project distributes the Holy Quran in plain, simple English for free. You can donate £3 and sponsor a Quran to a loved one, a neighbour, a colleague, or a friend. We distribute Qurans totally free of charge across the whole UK, including in prisons. Please call us now to contribute on 0300 030 1951 or email us on dawah@minhajuk.org.
Assalamu alaikum, listeners. Hope you're doing well during these challenging times. Today we'll be talking about NHS mental health services. Feelings of anxiety and depression can affect us all, and you are not alone. If you're struggling to cope with your mental health, or if you're finding it hard to do things you normally enjoy, the NHS is here to help. Today we've got Amandeep Somal, a senior cognitive behavioral therapist and couples therapist in the NHS. Amandeep, welcome to Inspire FM.
Thank you for having me.
Firstly, do the NHS have any mental health services?
Yes, they do. They have free, effective and confidential ways to support people who are having difficulties with their mental health, and that can be accessed through many different ways.
Now, I've often heard about talking therapies. Does talking therapy actually help?
Seeking help through talking therapies can actually be a really great way of supporting someone to overcome their mental health difficulties, such as depression and anxiety, and get them back on track.
Does the help of talking therapy be in person?
We've been a lot more versatile in the way that we offer talking therapy. So it be in person, face to face, or it can be via videos, or it can just be on the telephone. And of course, we also have online courses which you can do in your own time.
Is is there help and support available for those people who cannot speak English?
But for people whose first language is not English, you can also use a confidential translators, and also for people who have difficulties with hearing, we also have BSL translators as well.
That's excellent news. Urdu speaking listeners, Urdu may be help available here.
The NHS is here for your mental health and your physical health, and even during this pandemic. We've remained open throughout.
Amandeep, thank you so much for your time. Listeners, the NHS is here to help. Feelings of anxiety and depression can affect us all. If you need help with your mental health, you can refer yourself or without a referral from a GP, or your GP can refer you. Go to nhs.uk/help.
If you want to advertise your business on Revive FM, then visit www.revivefm.co.uk or contact our sales team now on 07944 565616. That's 07944 565616. Advertise with Revive FM.
Feelings of anxiety and depression can affect us all, and you are not alone. NHS Mental Health Services are available to help. NHS Mental Health Services are a free, effective and confidential way to treat common mental health issues. Seeking help through a talking therapy can be one of the best steps a person can take to overcome their mental health issues and get back on track. Help can be offered in a number of ways, including in person, by video consultation, over the phone, or as an online course. For those whose first language is not English, talking therapies can be delivered through multilingual therapists or through confidential translators and in British Sign Language (BSL). If you need help with your mental health, you can refer yourself without a referral from a GP, or your GP can refer you. Go to nhs.uk/help.
Prophet Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam said, "Oh Allah, bless for us our Sham. These blessed lands of Syria have suffered conflict, dire poverty and persecution for over a decade. Millions of our brothers and sisters are in need of your help. Just £50 will feed a family for a month, and £300 will provide essential medical care. For £2,000, build a home for a Syrian family. Please call Penny Appeal on 03000 11 11 11 or visit pennyappeal.org. Penny Appeal, small change, big difference."
With over 40 years experience in the industry, Plashed Carpets is the place to go for all your carpets, laminates, linos and wood flooring. We have an established network of suppliers, which means we can offer some of the best prices in town. We offer free estimates, free measurements and now even free fitting. Call us now on 0208 472 8568 or visit us at 157 Plashette Road, Upton Park, London, E13 0QZ.
Revive FM
94.0. On the radio.
on your mobile.
And online.
Assalamu alaikum, welcome back. 94.0 on the airwaves. This is Altaf, Hussain, Taf from Halal Hangouts, taking you all the way through to iftar. This iftari show is sponsored by Wabe Restaurant in Gantsill. We're running a competition where we're giving away a meal for a family of 5 to eat at Wabe. You can sit and dine in the luxurious surroundings, and all you need to do is tag at Revive FM, like and follow, and tag 3 friends in the comments. The winner will be announced this Friday, and the competition closes on Friday at 7:30 p.m. during the iftar show. Now, we had a very special guest, Youness from Nesta. And now we were talking about finance, Islamic finance, and the need for it in this country. It's been a very long journey for Islamic finance. I finally feel like with the advent of apps like Nesta and other apps like Wahed and My Ahmed and there's Zoya Finance. There's quite a few out there that are starting to emerge, and they're also branching into banking. Now, this is an important step, and there's we've had on the show in the past, Kestrel. It's an important step for Islamic fintech to step up and move onto main stage. Historically, Islamic finance in this country has been people like the large corporate Islamic banks who near enough all only focus on commercial finance, and consumer Islamic finance has really been non-existent. This stuff is required for the Muslim community. Think about car financing, think about mortgages, think about loans and things you need to do to circle through the major events in your life. You may need some financing. You may need a loan for business that you're planning to do, or for a life event that you want to get over the hill for. We just don't have the solutions. If you speak purely from an Islamic perspective, and there's arguments to say, okay, we can, you just call profit and interest a different name. But as Youness was saying, they've spent a lot of time and effort to not have it just be a straight swap between profit and interest. There to be some real process, and for it to be truly Islamic, and the spirit of it to be beneficial for both parties, both the lender and the receiver of the loan. The receiver receiving the benefit of the loan when they need it, and the lender having some sort of financial benefit from lending or buying something for someone. So if you buy something, so it's not direct loan, it's buying the car, buying the house, and then selling it back at an agreed price. Both parties benefit. Now, one of the things I mentioned earlier in the previous section was I went to an Islamic talk around Islamic finance, and this was about going back 10 years. It was in the SOAS, so University or Arts and Culture, and it was packed. Mufti Uthman Taqi, who is a financial scholar, he's sat on multiple boards and written many books. He's based in Karachi in Pakistan. Many books on the Islamic finance subject. So it's a very particular subject. There's a lot of detail in how you conduct business, in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, in the times of the rightly guided caliphs. There were systems set up. There was market inspectors. There was a treasury. There were rules, codes of conduct when conducting business. There was the concept of not selling something you don't own. So the agents couldn't cheat the farmers out of their money by going and selling at the high price at the market and then coming back, and only when they've got orders going back to the farmers and giving them money. So there was a whole financial structure, and it's been completely lost. But now I feel like here in the UK, our financial literacy is starting to improve, and the digital platforms are starting to improve to the fact that we can develop and build apps and products that can service the community in a way previously not seen. So going back to this, I'm in this auditorium, and I'm sitting with my friend Abu from Halal Hangouts, and we were watching, and a lot of the conversation was, why are people not getting Islamic mortgages, and why are they going for conventional ones? And at the time, they just weren't the options available, and the ones that were available were very highly priced. So they couldn't pin their base rate on they couldn't. Because they operated by rental income, they couldn't go off the interest rate. And they eventually did, I think, and that was the conversation. All of them eventually did that. But then because of that, people were like, well, this is just interest. It's given, they call it profit, but it's interest of a different name. So that was the topic of conversation. There was a lot of toing and froing. There's some very key people in the UK there. It was one of the, I'd say it's one of the pivotal gatherings of the time. And there was one gentleman, he came onto the panel, and I can't remember his name, but he said something really pertinent. He said, if the Muslim community cared as much as they did about their halal finance as they did with their halal food, we would be in a very different situation. We'd be in a position where we'd have financial products. We'd have, as Youness mentioned, the Mr. Khan's butcher shop and Mr. Johnson's butcher shop all being on equal footing, and the Islamic bank and the conventional bank being in on the same level playing field. I don't think in bricks and mortar pre-COVID that would have been a possibility, but after COVID and how people changed and started to transact more online, we got to a point where it's normalized for everyone to have a mobile banking app and to conduct most of their banking online. So going back to this gathering again, halal meat in this country is absolutely rampant. We have it everywhere, and it's only growing. The industry is huge, and we continue to grow. And as we saw last week with Saffron Alley, a new online halal meat shop, that things are going digital. So because we've taken that leap with halal meat, and we're making leaps and bounds, I feel like halal finance wants a bit of onus and accountability is taken up by the community. We'll see major changes, and the new challenger banks, well, Islamic financial products are really refreshing to see. And this, going back to all those that talk all those years ago, it seems like people are paying attention now. People do want to take care of how they earn their money, how they spend their money. The demographic in the UK of UK Muslims is quite affluent. If you think about it, they don't drink. They don't drink. They don't spend their money on gambling, and the family unit is quite compact and quite tight knit, meaning that the economics of how people live are shared. So people in a Muslim households typically tend to stay with their parents for longer periods than their non-Muslim counterparts. So due to all these factors, a lot of leftover cash, if you like, call it cash rich. I wouldn't call it affluent because wealth hasn't been built up yet, but some real cash has been with this sort of demographic. And with this cash, people are starting to get interested in things like crypto and investing and learning to make your money work for you, which has historically not been an option. Like if you wind back 20 years ago, your average 19-year-old would not have a clue, because if they wanted to get involved in investment, they'd have to go and visit a broker or call a broker up. Maybe they would have a website or something. You'd fill out a form. The broker would call you up, say, you're not serious. I can't be bothered to deal with your £20 pocket money or your £50, £100 pocket money, whatever it is. And I'm not gonna bother with you, and that would be the end of the conversation. So we saw people not getting into financial investments or anything like that until later on in life. But now everything has changed. It's changed to the point where I'm seeing 16, 17-year-olds investing and talking about like, oh yeah, I bought this coin, I bought that coin. It's like almost the gamification of it, and it's not even like real money, real wealth. But wealth is being created. I think the crypto space has completely changed that. So for those of you who don't know what crypto is, cryptocurrency specifically is what I'm talking about, and cryptographic assets. So these are digital assets that are created and store value. There's various assets that you may have heard about. You may have heard about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a store of value, a currency created back in 2010, and just today the price is around $40,000, maybe £35,000 for one Bitcoin. Going back 10 years, it's probably about 2p or something like that. So there's a lot of value stored in the network, Bitcoin. So it's a cryptocurrency that allows you to store a digital asset, and it's yours forever, and it's stored on a distributed ledger. A ledger is like a record of what has happened, and it's distributed across a massive network. So that's called a blockchain, and that is immutable, meaning that once it happens, once an event happens, it's always recorded. So you always have that Bitcoin. There are smart contracts. Smart contracts are a way to, through code, through technical code, like programming, activate clauses in a contract. So for example, once you deliver something to me, if you send me 5 Bitcoins, I'm going to release or send me 5 cryptocurrency, it doesn't matter which one it is, I'm going to release an image of you. So an NFT, that sounds like blackmail. Send me Ethereum and I'm going to release an image of you. That's not what I really meant, but that's what's happening these days. There's a lot of been many hacks around it. But just the reason I'm talking about this is financial literacy and the younger generation getting involved in wealth. And wealth is not cash in the bank. Wealth is assets that appreciate in value. Things like houses, things like jewelry or gold, digital assets are of the same thing. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, all of these cryptocurrencies, they are digital assets and can appreciate. So this wealth is being created right now, and you're not going to see it now, but you'll see it in maybe 10, 15 years. This generation that has got involved in financial education and involving themselves in investment this early, if they continue, and most people will drop out, to be honest. Most of them are going to be like, I can't be bothered with this, and they'll just throw their coins away, and they'll forget about them. And then you'll read a story about someone coming back and saying, oh yeah, I lost 100 million worth of Dogecoin or something. But those people will exist, and there'll be 90% of people, but there'll be a subset that go on to earn and create wealth, extreme wealth, and be able to use that. And if we can harness that in the Muslim community, we're going to be in a really, really good place. So that's kind of my story around financial literacy. We have been on air for approximately 1 hour and 10 minutes. We're going to go in a break pretty soon. And when I come back, we're going to be counting down to iftar. So today, iftar is at 8:07. That's 8:07 iftar. If you're cooking in the kitchen, listening to me, if you're my family back home, listening to me, I want to say to my family, I love you, and I'm sorry I left the bath in such a mess. And if you're cooking at home, because I left in a rush. If you're cooking at home, what are you cooking? Message in. I'd love to know. Are there samosa on the menu? Are there pakori on the menu? What are you making? Is it harira? Is it jollof rice? Is it noodles? what are you eating today? I'd love to know. So we're about to go on a break, and when I come back, we'll be taking you all the way through to iftar time. So we'll be back after these messages.
Amigos, the signature name when it comes to burgers and shakes. Our succulent burgers are prepared in front of you while you wait. Whether you go for our 6-ounce Mexican or our 10-ounce Texan, or you decide to go for our messy fries or our buffalo wings, one thing you're guaranteed is quality. Dine in with your friends and family at 400 Cranbrook Road, Gants Hill, or order in on Uber Eats, Just Eat or Deliveroo. Amigos, hats off to great burgers.
Nitro Treats, the dessert lab where your treats are formulated before your very eyes. Keep cool with our flavoured shaved ice, or chill out with our exclusive Dragon Breath Nitro ice creams. Experiment with our selection of mojitos, or indulge in our traditional faludas or lassies. Visit Nitro Treats at 210 Ilford Lane, where our nitrologists remain ready to serve. Nitro Treats, it's nitrolicious.
If you're looking for a unique bespoke cake made especially for your big day, then look no further. Here at Sugar Sprinkle Cakery, we design some of the most imaginative and delicious home-baked cakes for your special occasions. We do fresh cream, buttercream, eggless and vegan cakes. Check us out on Instagram or Facebook at Sugar Sprinkle Cakery, or just call 07932 665 833. That's 07932 665 833.
Looking to get your finances in order? MR Accountants has you covered. We provide a full range of accountancy and taxation services, including annual and management accounts, self-assessment tax returns, VAT, bookkeeping, and payroll services. We ensure you're kept up to date with the latest legislation, and our client-focused approach helps us plan your business finances from savings to investments. We are MR Accountants. Visit our website at mraccountants.com or call us on 0203 432 9138.
Thinking about selling or letting your home? With Maxwell Estates, you don't need to look any further. Well established with over 15 years of experience, Maxwell Estates are specialists in residential sales and lettings. We manage over 200 properties in and around Northwest London, keeping our landlords and tenants updated with all the latest laws and legislations. Based in Edgware, our experienced specialist negotiators always ensure we maximize the full potential of your property. Call us now on 0208 952 0808 for a free no obligation quotation, or visit our website www.maxwellestates.co.uk for further information. Maxwell Estates, the name you can trust.
Kebabish Original, one of the biggest names in the restaurant trade. Visit your local KO to experience the thrill of the grill and the most authentic Pakistani cuisine. From our kebabs to our curries, and from our mixed platters to our peri-peri, our chefs prepare your food in front of you while you wait. KO is now offering franchise opportunities. To take advantage of our proven and successful business model, contact us on 0208 446 7779 or visit kebabishoriginal.co.uk.
Revive FM
94.0. On the radio.
on your mobile.
And online.
Revive FM 94.0. We are back on the airwaves. This is Altaf Hussain. This is Taf from Halal Hangouts, taking you all the way through to iftar. This iftari show is sponsored by Wabe Restaurant in Gants Hill. And to celebrate that fact, we're having a giveaway. So we're giving away a meal for a family of 5 at the Wabe Restaurant. All you need to do is like and follow Revive FM and tag 3 friends in the comments. The winner will be announced this Friday. The competition closes Friday at 7:30 during the iftar show. So we've been talking about finance. We've been talking about crypto. We've been talking about my bath. I left it in a complete state. I'm very sorry. I apologize live on air. But, this is Ramadan time. And I just want to sort of talk to the listeners at home preparing iftar right now. It's an amazing thing to be with your family during this time. And we're blessed, alhamdulillah, to have actually got through COVID and have a Ramadan where we're together during iftar times. So last year was kind of tentative or pensive, I'd call it, where people were meeting but not as much, and we just come out of a year, a terrible year of a global pandemic where the masjids were closed during Ramadan. And this year, I feel like people are coming together and meeting more and eating more. So they're eating together, and that's an important blessing that we have, and we should be grateful for that, to be able to eat with our families together, break bread, meet people. And Ramadan for me has always been a time of gathering. You know, you'd always gather with your family, with your friends. You'd host big iftars, so you'd have 15, 20 people all coming to your house, or you're going together. It's a time when you're together to give charity and to think of charitable causes. This blessing has been given to us again this year, so please don't waste it. I mean, these moments in our lives don't come very often. You don't realize how many iftars you're going to have. Maybe you won't make it to next year. So just enjoy the moment. Enjoy iftar with your family. Be thankful and grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving you the opportunity. And also think about the people across the world who are Muslim and non-Muslim that don't have enough to eat. This today particularly, my fast was tough because of a heavy, hectic schedule and lack of sleep. People are feeling this on a daily basis, and I would encourage everyone to think about those moments just before you open your fast, you break your fast. It's a blessing to be here in the top 5% of the world. I'd say we are very lucky, and we should be constantly being thankful for that, and using our position in the world to help other people. So we're running loads of charity appeals this weekend, during the week. Check out Minhaj. Moz and the other presenters are doing a great job in raising the money. So please give. You don't have to only give it to Minhaj or Revive FM or any of the other charitable causes. Just give as much as you can in charity. By performing those acts in Ramadan, you're getting more benefit, and the best nights of the year are approaching us. I think tomorrow night, depending on when you started, will be the first, going into the last 10 days. So this weekend is going to be definitely the last 10 days. And during the last 10 days of Ramadan, it's the opposite. It's the opposite. This is the final home straight where you need to strive. So I was listening to a speech around striving during Ramadan. It was the local imam gave a speech around striving, and this is the time of year where if you're putting your money if you know about investing, now is the time to invest in your afterlife, in your akhirah. Give more charity. The Prophet ﷺ was more generous in the days of Ramadan and the nights of Ramadan than he was throughout the year, and we should follow and emulate that way, because the blessings and advantages are beyond this world, this worldly realm. We can't fathom what even one pound in charity can do for us. So don't waste it. This is the investment opportunity of a lifetime. The last 10 days of Ramadan, while you're here, while you're healthy, while you're alive, remember to just pray and make dua and give the charity that you might have. You may think it's a small amount. Encourage your children, encourage your family to give, because we're only here. We're only going to be in 2022 once. Once the time is gone, it's gone. You may live for a few more Ramadans, another Ramadan, but now is the time. It's the last 10 days. It's coming up. So giving that message of urgency, giving that message of getting out there and striving, we are approaching the last minute of this show. And I just want to thank Youness, brother Youness, for coming and talking about Islamic finance. Thank everyone at the Revive team, all the presenters doing a wonderful job. May Allah bless them, give them good in this life and the next. May Allah guide everyone to goodness and protect us from evil. And me first, may Allah give us the opportunity and the tawfiq to strive. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. We are approaching iftar. Thank you so much for listening, and get those dates ready, get that water ready. We are signing out. Assalamu alaikum.
This iftari is sponsored by the Wahbeh restaurant in Gants Hill, Ilford, and Plashett Carpets in Upton Park.
اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا ومولانا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم إني لك صمت وبك آمنت وعليك توكلت وعلى رزقك أفطرت. وصلى الله تعالى على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول حي على الصلاة. حي على أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله في الأولين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه في الآخرين اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه في الملأ الأعلى إلى يوم الدين اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت سيدنا ومولانا محمد الوسيلة والفضيلة والدرجة الرفيعة وابعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته وارزقنا شفاعته يوم القيامة إنك لا تخلف الميعاد.
This iftari is sponsored by the Wahbeh restaurant in Gants Hill, Ilford and Plashet Carpets in Upton Park.